Whoa. I'm Edward Grant, I'm a Badger Binder at BOOKFORGE, and this is BOOKFORGE Live. So, once a week, usually. There we go, let's get that out of my face. Alright. So, yeah, as I was saying, once a week, usually, we go live for a couple hours on Wednesday from 1 to 3. And essentially, whatever's on the workbench or whatever I happen to be doing that day is what you get to watch. And it's not meant as a tutorial, it's not meant as a workshop or a class. This is just for people who like watching other people do what they do. And in this case, it's book binding and book restoration. I have a lot on my bench today, and quite frankly, I'm not my best self. I don't feel very good. The heat has been getting to me, and it's not even really that hot yet. The bindery, I have an air conditioner going, but it's actually meant for a space half this size. So if you hear the fan or the air conditioner, if it's loud, I apologize. There's nothing I can do about it, because quite frankly, if I shut it off for 10 minutes, it'll be 85, 90 degrees in here, so I can't do that. Plus the humidity skyrockets, and working with what we work with, humidity is just not a good thing. So oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm not really feeling that great. A couple announcements. For those of you who usually follow us on Patreon, thank you. I've just finished recently 365 copies of a letterpress limited edition of Animal Farm for Suntep Editions. It will be being shipped out probably by the end of next week. Today and tomorrow I'll be boxing everything up and getting it ready, or at least I'll be bagging it, I think. So some fun news is I am probably going to be doing some very small editions for, what's the name of that place? Pagana Press. I had to think for a minute. They do some really fun and unusual design bindings where that's 365. I'll be doing one copy of the Golden Key with leather and vellum, inset graphic. It'll be pretty. And I think that's going to get a clamshell. Then I'm looking at 20 or 25 copies of the Annals of the Jinn. And we're still hashing out the details on that. So that's going to be very exciting. A smaller artisanal batch. Definitely looking forward to working on those with Mike. See what else is going on. I have some things in the works that I can't talk about. Some really cool stuff. Well, I mean, I can give you a 35,000 foot view. BOOKFORGE may move by fall. We're looking at a ground level storefront. It'll double as a bookstore. I have enough books in storage to start a used bookshop. So it would be a bookstore up front, book bindery in the back. Yeah, I know, there's a reach, right? But it'll eliminate some issues that I've been having in this building, being on the 4th floor, my clientele largely being an aging population, or yeah. So we'll see how that goes. All right. So today I'm going to be doing a lot of exploring. I've been working on this Bible for a while. We'll talk about it in a minute. It's been giving me some problems, but I think we're past that. I have a stack of books here that I need to figure out what needs to be done, because I don't remember. They've been here a while, and I need to work on those. And then I need to start putting Animal Farm in poly bags. So we're going to get a mixture of odd stuff. So this particular Bible, the leather was really bad, really full of red rot. And so every time I would try to do something, the leather would crumble. And there's some aspects of it that I am not happy about, but it is what it is. I think when I get done touching everything up, the client will be happy. Yesterday, I glued the boards on, pasted up. The leather. So I had already attached the leather to the spine, and it was dry. So then I tucked the leather underneath the leather and attached it to the boards. So as you can see now, yeah, see, this didn't come out the way I wanted it to. So I have to work on that. But that moves freely, it looks good. Okay. Opens pretty good, doesn't pull. I haven't put the end papers. Yeah, this poor book. All right. Major leather work's done. I got some areas to touch up. So that's the spine. Now the spine isn't as dark as the rest of the leather. I will take my leather and dye it. So this is what it looked like when I got it. This is Cathedral Calf. I like it for especially the big Bible restorations, and I use this to make my Cambridge panel bindings. And hopefully, next week, I'll be sewing, I have to count how many I actually made up, 5 or 10. Yeah, 5 or 10, I think it was 10 Cambridge bindings. They'll be on a dateless bullet journal, I think. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing good today. Holy cow. Hey. So yeah, so I took the Cathedral Calf, I dye it down to probably 3/4 of the color that I want. And then once I get the spine plate on and I have everything done, I'll go through and I'll touch up the exposed leather and kind of blend everything together. But you don't want to go and try and match with the leather off the book, because if you go too dark, well, now you're stuck because you can't lighten it. So that's why. And I'm going to end up touching this up anyway, because it's had so much red rot and there's so much rubbing. On this side, you can see there's plenty of the gold left. This side, not so much. A lot of the gold is rubbed away. The leather is just worn down to its semi-close to its original color. So I'm glad this project's almost done. I'm sure the client will be happy to see it. All right. So like I said, this is going to get new end papers, and I think I want to start that now. Yeah, I think so. Let's see what we got going on. So, yeah, these were the original end papers, and I was going to reattach them with the cloth. But since the paste downs on the boards they were in crap condition, they were mostly gone, I'm going to have to put a new paste down there, so I might as well make the other end papers matching material. So give me a minute. I'm going to take a look in my drawers and see what I have to match this. I'll be right back. So I don't have an exact match. I do have a nice moire pattern cloth. You can see so I think I might end up using this. It'll be an upgrade, but I don't have the type of material to match this. Let's check it out. Nope. And no. All right, so let's get some measurements. Millimeters high. Let's go 220 wide. make this one a little. I guess that might work a little bit. Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, believe it or not, this Bible here didn't look too different from this Bible here. This one's a little worse. This will be the next project I start, so I'll be working this one, and I'll be finishing up this one back here. My goal is I'll probably be starting this hopefully before the end of the week, and it'll probably take me 3 weeks to complete. Alright, so I'm going to set this aside. Right. I mentioned I'm not doing very well today. My head is not in the game. Yeah, I'll probably get sued for copyright. I just messed with that theme. Sorry. Seriously? Ah. cheaper to sharpen the blade than it is to replace the paper. Glad the Bible wasn't any bigger, so I could get all 4 pieces out of this one sheet. Makes me happy. Why does that look crooked? Okay. Optical delusion. Illusion. I know. Drawer. All right, so front and back. Now I need to cut the connecting cloth. Again, I don't have the exact thing that they used, but I've got something comparable. Nice cloth. push that camera up. Pushed it back. That should be a little bit better. So the audio is still going to be pretty poor. I'm not using this microphone yet, so I don't have the right cable to go from the audio box to the video switcher. So in time, we'll get there. All right, how big? So I make these a little bit large, and then I trim them down. And that's okay. When they were originally put in, they were put in as a form of made-in paper. I'm kind of doing a low-rent version of that. So what I'm doing to that Bible is what I consider a functional restoration. I'm going to make the book work because of the client's budget. If I did everything to set that thing right, the client would be set back $6 or $8 grand. Which I don't think that was in their plan. As it is, I think this restoration was close to $600. That included the leather and everything, but mostly it's just labor. The amount of time it takes to do the paper repairs and stabilize the spine and reline it and all that good stuff. Sewing, if it needs sewing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut this just a little bit long, and we'll trim it down. I get 2 hours. But what are the odds of that happening? See that? Freaking came out 10 year exact. Alright, that's some funny stuff right there. Gonna grab some boards so I can go press this way. twist the wool the other way though. It's so small. Now my brush is over here. I'm giving it a decent overlap with what the original sheets had. Wasn't expecting that. Oh. Okay. We'll talk about this in a minute then. That's funny. I forgot all about that. So if you were watching some of the tools today, you know I was talking about the nipping press. This is one of the instances where you use it. So I put those two pieces of fabric together, and I put them in the press because it's that initial pressure that's really important. You leave them in there as long as you can, but you want that initial pressure to be really good. So this fabric is a paper-backed foot cloth. It just doesn't want to play right. So let's take. I always want to brush away, push the glue off. You never want to brush in. Because if you brush in, you can push the glue underneath and you'll get it on that pretty side. And we want to avoid that. I got a little bit more glue out here than I really care to admit to. Now this isn't the usual way that I make made-in papers. This is kind of cheating a little bit. But it's the way that Bible came apart and the budget on how I'm going to put it back together again. Ooh, I'm learning now. So I haven't had anyone here in quite a while. Lars has been having medical issues, and Sharon has her issues. We all have issues. But, and even my mom, who comes every once in a while just to help out for something to do, and you gotta help out. The heat's been kicking her butt too. She's getting up there in years. So I've been the only one here for weeks. And I would still love to find the right person to become an actual apprentice. And when I say apprentice, I'm not looking for someone who just wants to come here for a few days here and there and learn bookbinding. I want an apprentice who actually wants to go into this field, the trade. I would like for them to learn, work with me, become a partner, and eventually take the business over. So I prefer an apprentice that was younger than I. 55. I will be at retirement age in a decade. And while I think I will always bookbind, I think by then I would like to be doing just select jobs, very special projects, design bindings of my own. I would like to travel and visit other bookbinders and see their binderies and talk to them and that kind of thing. So if you know anyone who's interested in becoming an apprentice, the way that I start out, the person comes and they learn, and it's like a regular old-fashioned apprenticeship where they invest their time, I invest my knowledge, there's no pay involved. Once they get to a point where they are able to work on client books, and that could be a matter of months, or it could be a lot of months, depending on their aptitude. And once they start working on client books, they'll start getting a percentage of that, and then until eventually they'll get paid for, they're working on their books, I'm working on my books, and everyone gets paid. All right, so those are drying, that's sitting. I showed you that Bible. I could show you this this new book that came in, and I'm going to be starting working on this, and I'll probably start on this next Monday. And this will definitely be one that we will do a video series on. It's not going to be a full binding, but we're going to definitely take care of that spine. See it better in that. And we'll probably replace the corner leather, the leather on the spine. We'll reattach that spine plate. But it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous book. If you look at those end papers, it's all in French. The first few signatures have some water damage, and then it starts dissipating as you go in. But it's all about Venice. And now the date on this, you can read it. 1878. So yeah, this will definitely be a video for the rebacking of this book. It'll get the spine stripped, it'll get relined, all that good stuff. All right, so some of this other stuff I need to work on. I need to call this woman. I don't remember specifically what I was going to do, and so usually wisdom for the way. Yeah, there's no notes in here, and I don't know, because usually I have a sheet, an intake sheet, and I usually have it written out. Now, this is an old one because it still says Crayons Books, but and it usually has all the information on the condition of the book, contact information, what I'm supposed to be doing, and I have nothing on this book. That's very frustrating. And I don't recall the conversation whatsoever. So let's
Verizon Wireless, the number you dialed has been changed, disconnected, or is no longer in service. If you feel you have reached this recording in error, please check the number and try your call again. Welcome to Verizon Wireless, the number you dialed has...
Okay. Well, so recently, because of situations like that, I just tried to call this woman. If her book was done, if I had notes and I actually did what I was supposed to do, I'd call her up to tell her her book's ready and to come pay for it. But that phone number's been disconnected, and so I have no way of contacting her. Now recently I've been telling people, so put down your phone number and an email. I love having multiple ways of getting a hold of people, and yeah. So I'm going to put this back on the shelf and it can sit there until she contacts me. All right. I'm going to set this one aside. So this puppy, roll my glasses, has a sheet, and basically we're going to case it in a hardcover. Now I've already started ironing the pages. Now about you can see how it was just shoved in a bag and not really cared for. So I have been ironing it, which I'll have to continue. I don't want to bore you to death with that though. So I'm going to set it aside. The hows and whys of French cooking. So another one where I should have information in there. So it's I had that book that long. Optimize French cooking. So here's another one where I have no notes, but the price tells me a lot. All right. I'm going to scan these end papers in. This has already come apart. I know this freaks people out when I do this. I'm just going to block this end paper off the book. It's going to need touched up anyway. At least I won't have to cut it. this thing's seen better days too. Oh my God, what are you doing? These are things that I just trim them off. I'm going to clean and square this thing up so whenever you apply it, it's not in any of the hinge areas. That'll make things easy. I want to take off as much of the old material as possible. One, I mean, it could be acidic. Two, while it hasn't fallen away yet, it's old, and if the glue attaches to it and it falls away, you want as much of that original lining, the craft paper especially, to go away. And luckily this all came off. All right. How to take the label it, but while I'm working on a client's book, I will generally keep all of the pieces in a nice white box. All right. So this is going to be fun to fix. I'm going to try and do it on the book. That'll be for a later time. Same thing with this. I do want it. Bigger board sitting around here somewhere. Set it up. What did I do with the small wooden boards back there? That was a close one. That was a word. All right, so this little puppy, I'm going to have to do a guillotine on. We did a class with a bunch of kids. City Gallery puts on kids art camp, and artists in the building will help out. We'll teach classes. This year I did these really cute animal books. So this is what the kids did. It had to be simple. It had to be something they could do in an hour. And you open them up, and they have animal pictures. Now these are supposed to be drummed, so you're not supposed to be able to see the white. But they wanted to be able to put their own illustrations in there, so we didn't. There you go. We didn't glue those. Now this one here did get glued, and so you can see some of these pages are stuck together because I haven't trimmed the edge yet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this over to the guillotine, and I'm going to trim the edges, and I'll be able to open it up properly for you. So, yeah, this one didn't fit quite right. So once you take the edges off, then it opens up and you have a coloring book. And the edges, the pages are drummed together. At the tips. And this is a really good format to lay flat for artwork and photo books. So some of the kids had already made 2 or 3 of these, and I couldn't justify making them make another little animal book. So for the 4 kids who had been here a couple, 3 times, I had this one ready for them in the next class. So that's what this is. I put it in the press because I had drummed the edges together. If you want to know what I mean by drumming, I'm going to be doing a class workshop on, that did not cut straight. Cut. Neither did that one. Okay. That was bad. I was trying not to crimp or put an impression in the cover, but Okay, well, yeah, still not great. The spine wasn't on here right, but as you can see, when you open this up, the spine breaks away. There's a gap here, and this goes flat, and this allows you to go flat. So I'm going to be doing a workshop where you can attend in person, or you can sign up for the workshop, attend virtually. I'll send you a kit with everything you need to make this. But it's called a drum leaf binding, great for photography, art, stuff like that. And you don't have to sew anything. It's all adhesive and support. A lot of fun. So it'll be a one-day workshop. I'll schedule it for 8 hours. It'll probably be 6 hours with a 30-minute lunch in the middle. So, all right. Look for that coming up. So this. Really nice. I'm not even sure where my press pins are. So the press pins, if you've never heard that term, so because of this project, my bindery looks like a bomb went off, and I have no idea where anything is right now. But the press pins are basically dowels. They usually have a shape to them, and they go in these holes, and you use them to tighten down on your book. Press pins are particularly useful, especially if I was doing gold gilding on the edges, and I could tighten it down real tight. Well, now I'm curious. I'm trying to figure out where my press pins are. I haven't seen them in a while. They're here somewhere, though. Yeah, so that's one of my goals next week is as soon as Animal Farm is out and my shelves are freed up, I'm going to reorganize this, because you notice I never had the camera facing that way. So you don't even see the design area of the bindery. Or if you do, it's at a distance, because it's just a bunch of stuff dumped in the corner. It's a mess, and I'm really not happy with that. All right, so this guy. Are we thinking a little heat will take this off? Kind of glue am I dealing with here? Do I have to wet it or heat it? How old is this book? Let's see, with a little heat and see what it does. So the alternative is to coat it with paste, allow the paste to penetrate, moisten. If it's hide glue, it'll get soaked into the hide glue, reactivate it, and I'll be able to peel stuff off. It's hide glue. Heat's not going to work. All right. the funny thing about bookbinding and adhesives, we use adhesive to put the books together, but then we use adhesives to take the books apart. So I'm just going to lump this on here, and I should really have, stop. Saran wrap. Where is my saran wrap? Why do you want to know? I can't find it, that's why. No, seriously, look. Yeah, this is driving me nuts. I cannot wait to sit down and clean out the bindery because I have no idea where anything is right now. Found it. This is really bad coffee, by the way. Oh, yes. Venter. Why saran wrap, you ask? Good question. I put a layer of saran wrap over it, and it keeps the paste from drying out too fast. Because we really don't want the paste to dry. We want to remove it and anything that it has wet underneath it, so we can remove everything. So we take some saran wrap and we put it over it. And it helps it not dry out on us. Those in there. It's for another day. All right. Well, this is marinating. Someone brought me the art of Splatoon. Yeah, I don't know. Never heard of it. Apparently it's a thing. Now this one has an intake form. It's good. There's another one. So I don't want to destroy the end paper. So there's another one. We're going to try and walk this off. do it. Nope. There we go. Well, looks like we lost a little piece of it. Okay. We can fix that. The itty bitty teeny weeny piece. Of course. Alright. So we need a box for that one. I don't want to lose that piece. I will fix that with Hanji. Alright, so now we're going to do the same thing over here. This page is already ripped, so I'm trying to be very careful. This one. So this will need pressed. I need to try and get it flat again, and that's okay. We're also going to take this lining off and reline the spine. Now the end papers, I can fix them here on the case. The case looks pretty squared up. It's not warped. Alright, so what I'll end up doing, I'm going to scan these in just to have them. I will do some paper repair on the back side with Hanji paper. And then I'll lift this a little bit more so I can get the hinge material when I apply it. This has a really small hinge material, which is amazing. And then I'll take this, I'll do something very similar to what we got going on there, where I'll take the spine lining off and then press this and see if we can't get some of the warpage out. And we'll get back to that in a minute. So in the meantime, so I trimmed my nails last night. I went way too shallow. I don't know if that is high glue. It looks like heat-activated rubber stuff. Maybe we get this paper off. I can try again with the heat and see if we can't move some of it. You can see how that's just ate the paper up. Didn't get all the way through, but that's okay. I'm being kind of aggressive with this because it didn't eat all the way through the paper, and whatever's underneath this is pretty solid. I'm not really concerned about damaging the spine at all at this point. If we got better penetration, I might worry about any of the I didn't seem to take it well. I still think that's high grade. We're going to find out in a minute. Get rid of this goof. I'll check and see if there's any comments. There usually isn't, but what the heck? Maybe there will be. So looking at the BOOKFORGE site. Oh, got a notification. Alright, looks like your boy says good adjustment to the overhead view. streaming site, which is YouTube. And nothing on Facebook. Okay, so no comments for me to address. That's okay. So while that is wet, I'm going to put these guys. Yeah, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I cut those back way too far. I'm talking about my thumbnail and my fingernails. I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah. All right. These end bands will need cleaned off. They've got bits of glue. I may have to moisten those. Yeah. But for now, you can go in there. I don't want to lose them. Alright, let's get rid of this trash. So, a lot of bookbinders, I don't know about a lot, other bookbinders, my master, his workbench could be a mess. Didn't care. I have massive ADHD. I can't have chaos on my table. If it's chaotic, I don't function very well. So yeah, I clean as I go, and that's something that it's a lean concept that I learned at Boeing. Clean as you go, and it makes cleanup at the end of the day really easy. All right. Good Lord, do I have to start ironing that? Set these guys aside. Yeah, this poor book. Usually with these, I have them labeled. I use blue masking tape and I write on them, but I'm out of tape. But that's what I'm working on, so be it. Okay. So this may seem silly, but I can't really work on this book with I can't really work on this book. Now imagine, this, I've already ironed these out. I don't know if you can see that, but those pages are curled and turned in, and it just creates this wad of mess there. And so I need to get most of that out. I'm going to use some blotting paper, kind of as a backdrop, if you will. And yeah, literally I have to iron Alright, can you imagine? Depending on the task, I bill out $35 to $55 an hour. I haven't even really started work on this book, and I've been working hours on getting these little rolls, and a lot of it, like they're folded in on themselves 2 or 3 times. Now, when I'm ironing, I'm not applying steam or anything. There's no water that's ever been in this particular kind of change. Yeah, no water's ever been in that iron because you don't want to moisten the book. That kind of defeats the purpose of what I'm trying to do. You moisten the book, you introduce the chance of mold, mildew. Doing my best to not damage the paper while trying to unfurl it. It's a very frustrating, daunting task, not to mention boring as heck. But for me to do the binding, I need these things to flatten out. Poured out from underneath my feet. I know you really can't see what I'm doing over there very well, can you? Here. So you can see each of these papers. Folded twice. It was a 1,200 page. Oh wait, 1,900 page Bible. I'm sitting here one by one. Of course, modern Bible paper is like toilet paper. All right, the hide glue is starting to blossom in there with the paste, so a couple more minutes, and I'll need to switch over to that project. I don't have nails. It's really weird trying to handle things. We're getting a nice wide variety of things today. I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I need to figure out what I'm going to do. My current apprentices are just not here, and despite their good intentions, it does me no good. I can't. Yeah. Oh. What am I going to do? I'm going to set this aside for a minute. And let's see. Oh, yeah. The only problem with the paste is it makes everything slippery. So you can see I'm just pulling off pieces of the old mold. Sometimes you can get a real good run and just pull the whole thing off. It's easier when it's a solid, like a linen. The nice thing about this book, I don't have to resew it. We're going to strip this off, and then once it's completely stripped, we'll reshape the spine and reline it. I think we'll get much more of that off. All right, here we go again. This time. I'll leave the cameras rolling until we get this thoroughly clean, so you can at least see the end and clean spine. My hands are a mess. If you don't mind, give me a second. I'm going to go wash my hands real quick, get this stuff off, and we'll come back and continue ironing. Woohoo! Did I mention the heat's kicking my butt? Glasses. Seriously? Yeah, no, I said I didn't want to introduce moisture, but it kept curling back in on itself. Book is like origami. It's folded in and on itself and back on itself. I understand why she wants to keep it. She's got all these notes in her columns and everything. Honestly, I mean, it's not a particularly valuable book. But what she wants. All right, so if you're watching this, I want you to know that my Patreon page is meant to help educate. If there's something in particular that you want to see, and I know Dave, you've been waiting for the cloth session forever, and we're getting closer to it because, like I said, the camera doesn't point that way because of the garbage in the corner. It's a mess, and once that is cleared, we are going to definitely have that cloth session. But this is interactive. All the posts, make comments, ask questions. I will do my best to answer them in short order. If there's content that you want to see, because I do more than just these live sessions, right? So let me know. Put that information down in the comments. We've got some cool stuff coming up. I showed you that Venice book. We've got that Bible. We're getting closer to the fall, so the 1770 Nuremberg Bible is going to be a thing. I have a bunch of classes coming up in the fall, and a lot of that information is going to get dumped into Patreon. A lot of stuff coming up. We've got those bids that we did with Pagana Press. I cannot, it doesn't roll off my tongue. I'm excited about that. I'm also in talks to do a limited run of 20 books with an author. He has a horror story called Pigheads, and he wants to do it in, bind it in olive Todd pigskin. Kind of excited about that. So we're hammering out costs and materials and that kind of thing. So hopefully he does that. His original proposal was to take print-on-demand books and put these olive Todd pigskin cases on them, which is doable, but the olive Todd pigskin is a process different than tanning leather, and it's expensive, very, very expensive. And my suggestion to the author was, if you're going to spend that much money on material, you should give your customers a quality book. Let me print it, sew it, line it, do all that good stuff, beautiful end papers on it, sew the headbands, and that way when your clients pay that much for a book, because these are going to sell for $350 to $500 a piece because of the material and what's going to go into them. So I haven't heard back. I was bid that the other day, so we'll see what his thoughts are. It may be a little bit too rich for his blood. Who knows? I'm honestly, I don't know anything about the author. I haven't read his work yet. I'm looking forward to reading a copy of Pighead. I may ask him to send me a copy to look at. And then I'm going to be making some Cambridge bindings. I'm out of my cathedral calf leather, so I need to find another nude or another light leather like that to start with. So I may be making an order here sometime soon. And once, since I haven't seen Marcia, I've been waiting for a while for those to get sewn, and they're just not happening. So I'm going to end up doing it and moving that project forward. I hope she's doing okay. I should probably drop her a line and see how she's doing. It's been a while since I've reached out to her. Things have been kind of hectic here because there's no one here. Wah, wah, wah. I know, all the way home. It's okay. I'm doing all right. Get these books done. I'll be caught up with that kind of stuff, and I'll be able to pay the rent. So I should do a little plug. If you're a patron of mine here on Patreon, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your funds go to helping this bindery live. When my my apprentices are here, it helps cover their material. At some point, I'd like to put some money away and improve. Like, I need these audio patch cables to help the audio quality in here. If I was able to use this mic instead of a mic on my webcam, it would probably sound a heck of a lot better. In time, I'd like to get some better camera equipment. Using the webcams is getting us by. It's doing the job. But it's from a theatrical or cinematic point of view, they're lacking. And I'm limited on where I can place them because of the length of the USB-C cords that I have. I have longer USB-C cords, but they're old school USB to USB-C, so I need high-powered, whatever the modern USB-C to USB-C is. Should probably take a look at that glue here in a couple of minutes. It's starting, but I'm going to let it go for a bit. Give it another 5 minutes, and then we'll scrape it before I log off. If you're watching this and you aren't a subscriber on Patreon, please consider going to BookForge, just patreon.com/BookForge, checking out my page, some of the materials that I have that are free or were advanced previews that are now open to the general public. Take a look at them and then really think about, hey, the stuff that is at tier level is pretty valuable. And then subscribe. Become a patron of the arts. Help me out. I would be eternally grateful. Things that you can expect. I do a live session almost every week. I do a bookbinding tool of the week, which I'm now on a rhythm where I'm actually getting it out weekly. And then I have special projects like the restoration of a late 19th century family Bible. We tore the whole thing down, stripped the spine, relined it, cased it back in, and I'm releasing that. It's a 10-part series because there's a lot of work done to that particular Bible. But I show almost everything step by step on how I took that Bible from that to something that the family can look at. That Venice book is also, we're going to make a video of that. We're going to step by step from doing an initial analysis to decide what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, to taking the boards off, stripping the spine, getting it relined and stabilized, or well, initial lining to stabilize it, and then we'll do any repair work that needs to be done, and eventually reline the spine, put the boards back on with new leather. It's going to be a fun project. I've got a couple of those. I got another one coming up where I've got 17th and 18th century book that they're going to get. So there's a difference between conservation and restoration. And then, in my opinion, there's different types of restoration. You can do a full historical restoration where you take it back to its original state, or you can do a functional restoration that you might not take it back to its original state, but you will make it usable and aesthetically appealing. Or maybe just usable and not aesthetically appealing. And then conservation, you want to be minimally intrusive, and you're going to do the bare minimum amount of work to the book to stabilize it, to conserve it. And that, when we do the video on those two books, they're both going to get a similar treatment. I may do them together as far as the video goes. And I'll explain more about what I'm doing and why we're not doing a full leather rebacking and why we're going to use Hanji paper to stabilize the leather. We'll get into it with the video. So we're now to the point where 3 o'clock, show's technically over, but let's scrape some of this and see what we got. Wow, it's still, some of it bloomed. You can see it's coming up. Now I'm using a spatula to do this. I also sometimes use something a little bit more aggressive. So a basic bookbinder's paper knife. To me, it's a steak knife, but I'm really hoping this would be the last I would have to do, but I'm going to have to touch this one more time get the rest of this old hide glue off. Yeah. I'd probably be a little bit more judicious if I knew I was disbanding this book, but I'm going to end up re-gluing it anyway. But let's get as much of this crap off. All right, my friends, this live session is coming to an end. So, this is our friends, the Honey Badger Binder of BOOKFORGE, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. And remember, leave some comments. I don't care. Say anything you want. I'm going to fuck off. No, just kidding. Don't say that. All right. Have a great one. Thank you.